Hey guys, 50 Stitches Steel here. I wanted to do a quick video on a new knife acquisition and show a couple other budget EDC folder options. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. This is the Kershaw Emerson collaboration. Emerson's well known in the folder community for making a no frills, not pretty, but very highly functional self-defense knife. And one of the cool things about Emerson's that a lot of people know about is this feature here up top, which is known as the wave feature. Now what happens with that is when you have this in your pocket and you pull it against the outer edge of your pocket and up nice and quick, what that'll do, this will catch on your jeans and automatically deploy your blade for you, making it actually quicker than an auto knife, an assisted knife. So this is a nice quick option if you need to get that knife out quick. Sorry about the lighting in here, guys. I wasn't too sure how it was going to work out, but that's not really the point of this. You can search on Blade HQ, Knife Hog. There's all kinds of knife retailers out there for you to do some better research on it. They'll give you all the specs on it, your sizes. Now, one thing I want to say about this too, if you have large hands like me, it looks bigger than it actually is when you see it on the internet. Now, even though they give you the specs, the differences here is how skinny it is this way, and which they don't give you on the internet. I love the size here. It's perfect for the width. It's nice and chunky and gives you a good grip. Now, I don't have no problem using this as a utilitarian knife. It's actually kind of perfect. But one of the main reasons I bought this was, I like to have that self-defense option open to me. Because of the, like I said before in previous videos, I live in a pretty bad area. And the threat of an attack from either addicts, people just looking to make a quick buck is very real. So I like to have that option without having to pull my pistol. I can either pull this out and just usually they get the message just by seeing it, but if not, I know a lot of techniques with knives here just to, wrap their knuckles if they keep advancing, start taking out their limbs. That way I don't have to take somebody's life. Because not only is it not as easy as people think, it's just something I don't like to have to do, especially for something like that. Now, if you're threatening my life, and if I feel the life of mine or my family's is in danger, I have absolutely no problem taking it there too as well. But like I said, it's just something I'd rather not do if I don't have to. Legal issues, the way you feel afterwards, just not a good thing. But let's get back to the knife. Like I said, the specs are online, and from the pictures, it looked big enough. It wasn't much smaller than one of my favorite EDCs, the Tenacious. But as you can see, there's a pretty big difference in size here. Especially, like I said, the width of the handle this way. I just really can't. Just feels like as soon as I take a little bit of pressure either way, it's going to slip out of my hand. But I'm very happy with this way. That's a perfect size. It's actually a little bit bigger than the Tenacious. But once again, I keep going back to this. This is a nice budget folder. You can find them anywhere between $30 and $50, depending on where you look. Usually about $35, $40. But the ergos on this, they just sit in your hand perfect. And it feels so secure that I would have no inkling that this thing would break on me or would fall out of my hand if I had to use it. But not only that, just using it in everyday cutting tasks, it's comfortable. You don't get no hot spots. It treats me well. This knife has been out for a few years now, this one here. But if something works for me, I keep on using it until I can't use the thing no more. It's just, if it treats me right, I'm going to take good care of it as much as I can and keep using it until I can't use it no more. Another good thing to get if you have even more than one folder is a Torx bit set, because most of these blades here, you're going to have to use Torx screws. And I know a lot of people check their pivots to see if you have any kind of amount of movement in them, and that's good. That's a good thing. You definitely don't want too much movement in your blade, but this will help keep after that, because after opening and closing it a lot, you're gonna get some pivot movement out of them. That just happens over time. So this will help tighten that. These are pretty cheap as well, between like $5 and $10 at your local hardware store. You should be able to find them. Lowe's, Home Depot. Nice set. Comes with it's also good. It has Phillips and flatheads on it as well, and you'll have your smaller Torx screw sets. Now there is, beware, and you'll see ones like this, which these are also nice too in the Torx head set, but usually the smallest one on these will only hit the pivot, and so you won't be able to take your knife apart and clean it and get it in better shape and polish your washers, you know, whatever, just normal knife maintenance, kind of like you would on your rifle or pistol. It's a good thing to do. It'll make your knife last longer, and you'll get a longer use out of it. But while we're on the topic of hardware, another strike against this knife. This hardware, well, one plus actually is that it uses flat heads and a Phillip head. So it's easy. Most people have the tools for that already. But when I went to sharpen this, it actually came pretty sharp out of the box. Sharp enough for just about anybody, but I like my, you know, I'm pretty specific about my edges. So when I went to sharpen it, it's a lot easier when you take this thumb disc off. I went to go take that off, and it just, they must have put some Loctite on the screw, and the actual head of the Phillips head bit screw was stripping, and it didn't want to come off, so I just stopped and left it there. But that's not too much of a bad thing. I mean, most people don't even care that much about a cheap folder like this. They'll just use it until they can't use it no more. But and I also want to talk about that blade play too. On your normal knives, like the other one I just showed you, you'll be able to tighten the pivot until you get to a point to where you'll unlock it and the blade won't even move, and you'll get too tight at that point. So it's kind of, you have to play with it and see where you hit that sweet spot where there's no blade play, but you'll still be able to get a nice smooth opening from it. I'm actually kind of impressed with this blade. I do not, you know, I said some bad things about this already, but I still don't think this is a bad option to grab, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. But if you have larger hands, I recommend, they have a CQC, there's a number and then a K after that for the Kershaw. But I recommend, if you have larger hands, going from 6 up to 8, stay in that area, because that's going to be your bigger options. Anything from 5 and under kind of have the shorter handles and the skinnier handles. So if you have, if you just wanted an EDC knife, not worried about self-defense, grab it anyway. You know, it still feels good. Emersons are known for their ergonomics. This actually wouldn't be bad ergonomic-wise. It is comfortable. It's just a little bit short and thin for me. But again, this way is perfect for me. It's nice and wide. I can get a good grip on it still. But if I go to use it this way, as you can see, my pinky kind of comes off. And the CQC 6 up to 8 lineup gives you that extra ½ inch for if you have the extra large hands to get that more secure of a grip to use it in a self-defense roll. But I was kind of disappointed too with the edge. It was a very sloppy edge. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure it was just this knife, you know. Like, it's the cheaper Kershaws. They're not perfect in their detail, but they're good enough. They're definitely good enough. The edge geometry was very different. I had one side like this and the other was almost completely flat. It looked like somebody was in a hurry when they sharpened this one. But I reprofiled it and it cuts beautifully now. So no worries there, but just something to think about if you don't like to sharpen or you're not too good at it. It's just something to think about. This is I don't know if you can pick it up in the camera, but this is a green G10. It has a good grip texture. I have no doubt about that. I'd get a nice secure grip on that if I get sweaty. So that's another good thing about these. And like I said, the hardware. It's good that they're, you know, your normal flathead and Phillips head screwdriver sets, but just be careful with them. They're fragile. If you can, I know there's hardened steel ones online. If you want to put the investment in it, it's definitely worth it. I'm sure it wouldn't be more than a couple of dollars, but definitely something to think about. So this is the Emerson CQC-5. Great blade shape, but go ahead and check them out. I definitely recommend this brand for a budget EDC self-defense knife. Before I move on to the next one, I wanted to talk about the ones directly from Emerson. Those are one of the few folders on the market that are actually designed and made to be self-defense folders. When Ernie Emerson first started out making them, he was actually designing them for Navy SEALs to use in combat. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Still working on getting a tripod here. But yeah, he designed it specifically for combat to be used hard. And a lot of people, when they pick them up, they'll notice that the Emersons have some blade play side to side. But Ernie designed that purposely. The washers in there, they're very thick, almost rubber-like washer. And what that does is cushion, gives shock absorption in your blade. When you're thrusting, what happens if you hit bone or something hard, say they have a vest on, you hit a plate or their rifle or pistol. If you have your pivot too tight, you have a very high chance of snapping your blade. And then you have a useless blade after that. What Ernie did, like I said, was put these cushion pivots, washers inside here. So that'll take some of that force away. And believe me, G10, this handle material is the same on a real Emerson. It's titanium on the inside. This is stainless steel. But that's part of the reason why they're $200 and some. But I think they're worth every penny. But back to G10, this is carbon fiber-like structurally and actually in strength. In some cases, this overrides carbon fiber. So it's actually one of my favorite handle materials. And you'll find them on a lot of knives. So if you see a knife with this grip texture and you see G10 on there, it's definitely a good handle material that'll last. I've seen knife tests where guys stuck these in trees and pried down on their knives, and the blade steel actually snapped before there was no steel liner locks either. They were just G10 handle scales. The G10 bent, but the blade snapped before this broke. So that shows you right there how strong they are. But this is getting a little long. Let me show you other quick options. Tenacious, very good ergonomics, thin, full, flat grind. This is a very good slicer utility. And if need be, I could see some self-defense roll as a slasher. Maybe not so much as a thrust, but I'd have confidence if I had to. I'd mostly be using my slashing knuckles, bicep cuts, leg cuts with this, and this would do it great. Spyderco Tenacious, between $30 and $50. This is the knife, SE Avispa, $28. This is the knife I use to cut the phone book. Full flat grinds will just slice for you all day long. Very good utilitarian knife. Some guys might like this, some might not. It's a very thin blade, but it's actually a pretty long blade as well. I'll put it up against here. This is 3 inches long here, so it'll kind of give you a size reference. This is perfect for my hand. So there you go there. There's a little bit of a size reference. This is butt to butt. Not too bad. You got a frame lock, stainless steel. This is, I believe, like an FRN plastic. Another quick tip for you two guys. I like to carry some of my knives with the pocket clip. This is actually made for left side tip up carry, but I carry it in my right pocket. And a reason for that is the way I draw it out of my pocket. Instead of pinching the knife like this, I'll flip my hand this way, and when I draw it, I'm already right there to deploy the blade. Give me a little bit extra time. And also, you'll notice when you're holding your knives, usually the pocket clip's on this side, and it kind of digs in your palm. When you have it this way, it actually adds yourself some grip to the blade, so you can get a nice secure grip. You won't get that hot spot, and you can cut all day long, and you don't have to worry about it going out of your hands. But this is a good option. 28 bucks, guys. Yeah, I think this looks pretty much just like the Rat one. Same blade shape, not same blade shape, same handle shape, different blade shape. This is more of a utilitarian blade shape, spear point, drop point. The other one is has a bigger belly on it and more of a point. But I wouldn't hesitate to use this if I had to as well in a defense role, though it wouldn't be my first choice. SE Avispa, 28 bucks. Little gem here I found at Tractor Supply. You guys might have some Tractor Supplies around you. This is another beater knife I keep in my truck. Smith & Wesson, Homeland Security. They have a whole lineup of the Homeland Security. Usually Smith & Wesson aren't known for their quality knives, but I think if you get a Homeland Security brand, they're pretty well made. This is all stainless steel, liner lock. Pretty solid blade, and it came razor sharp straight out when I bought it from there. I think this is about $25, so you definitely can't go wrong with that. Very comfortable in both forward and reverse grip. So just another quick option for you there. Smith & Wesson Homeland Security. They have all kinds of different blade shapes. Another brand I don't hear talk about too much, Camillus. These can be found at your local Walmart. You definitely want to, I don't know too much about it. This is my only blade I had by them, but I was pretty impressed with the price point and how nice and solid they are. Stainless steel handle frame. It has a little bit of weight to it, but it feels good. I like a little bit of weight to my knives. Ergonomics are great. This isn't a saw back. This is just kind of some jimping where your thumb rests into to do your cutting. This, a lot of people tend to think Tanto points are the best points for piercing. That can be true, but it depends how abrupt this point is. If this was a little bit back farther, I would definitely agree Tantos this one would pierce well. But the more forward you go at that point and the more steep of an angle that is, it's going to cause a wider blade and it's not going to pierce as well. But this is a pretty good choice for an EDC beater. One of those knives where you don't care if you leave it somewhere, it drops out of your pocket. But look for the brand name Camillus Titanium. What that means is these are titanium coated, and this has been held up very well. The titanium coating wears nicely, and it'll keep your blade nice and sharp. This is an unknown steel, as well as the Smith & Wesson. I don't know the steel on that. Both these ones, this one and the Tenacious, or 8CR13 MOV, varied. It's a budget steel, but it works great for me. It can get sharp. It dulls a little quickly, but it's not too bad. I mean, most guys are not going to use their knives that much to notice that. And your Avispa is an AUS 8, made in Taiwan. Taiwans have actually been known for making some pretty decent knives, but you can't just go by that. Usually Spyderco's made in Taiwan are very good. This is, I've been impressed with this. This has held up nice. And the AUS 8 steel on this, I've done some cutting with this with wood, cardboard, and it stayed sharp very long. So don't let somebody tell you AUS 8 is not a good steel. If you get a nice, decent edge on there, and the edge, a convex edge, it'll last you all day long and a few days after that and stay razor sharp. But that's it, guys. This video is getting pretty long. I hope that helped you out. If you have any more questions about what knife you should buy, go ahead, leave a comment, send me a message. I'll do anything I can to help you out on that. Take care, guys.